Everybody, it's Rebecca here at Why Mermaids, and welcome to my January wrap-up. I read a total of 6 things this month. I read 2 audiobooks and 4 regular books, and I had an average star rating of a 4.08. So it was a pretty good reading month. Good way to start off the year. So I like to do this by starting with my lowest rated book and working my way up. So let's start with my 1 3-star book. So the first book I have today is The Golem and the Genie by Helene Wecker. This was my 3-star read for the month. So it's low, but it's not really that low. It's just low compared to the rest of the month. This story is about a golem and a genie who basically these are mythological creatures from Poland and Syria, and it's an immigrant story because they're coming into the United States in New York in the late 1800s, like 1890-ish, and kind of having to adapt to society and to America and to life there. Both of them have different reasons for coming over and for becoming awake for the first time in this setting, and it's a really interesting story of that immigrant part of it. That's kind of what I took away from it. I really liked seeing just these different cultures and how they were reacting to the country and to America and to immigrating away from their homelands. But I did find that it was really slow at times. Like, this book is 500 pages long and it probably only needed to be about 300 pages. I felt like there was a lot of wandering around within New York, and it just kind of, I was like, oh, how many nights are we gonna wander around and do nothing? And it just got really kind of tiresome at some points because of that. But I did like the history and the mythology behind it, and I thought it was really interesting. I never read anything about a golem before. I didn't really know about a genie except from Aladdin, and it's completely not the same thing. So I enjoyed learning from this, but I didn't love the story. However, a lot of the other people from book club did really love the story, so it just, I guess, depends on your opinion, but mine was about a 3-star read. First of 3 4-star reads is, in fact, the very first book that I finished in the year, and it's Wishful Drinking by Carrie Fisher, the late great Carrie Fisher. I wanted to read this anyway, and then after she passed away, it was kind of just a moment that I took to myself, and I decided I really wanted to read her stuff, and I got it on audiobook, and so I decided to give it a listen, to get to know a little bit more about who she was, other than just Princess Leia and this big spokesperson for mental illness and bipolar disease. So I listened to this. It's very similar to the HBO show of the same name, so if you've seen that, it's on HBO, you can watch it. Then it's very similar. There's not a lot of additional anecdotes or additional information, and I had just watched it, so for me it was kind of just like re-listening to it without actually getting to see her, but I did still really enjoy it. Again, she narrates it herself, which I do love memoirs that are narrated by the author, particularly celebrity authors, and so this didn't disappoint. She's very funny, she's got that dry humor. She talks about a lot about trying to find humor in bad situations, and I think she's really great at that. And it was really nice to hear and more of her life and her struggles and the different things that she's been through other than just Star Wars. So I really liked it. I really recommend it, and especially if you are a fan of Carrie Fisher or you want to know more about her. She's a really fantastic, badass role model for women in general. I mean, she's Princess Leia, but she's also so much more than that. So I did give this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it, but I do think I liked the stage show better. So if you're on the verge of the 2, I would go with the stage show. So I said I had 2 audiobooks. I lied because I didn't actually think about it. I had 3 audiobooks, which is insane. 3 audiobooks in 1 month. Like, who does that? I can rarely get through 1, but I got through 3. Anyway, my second audiobook is also a 4-star read in addition to that one, and it is another celebrity memoir because I can't get enough of them, and it's Talking as Fast as I Can from Lauren Graham. So this is Gilmore Girls, if you've never seen it, like, go watch Gilmore Girls because it's awesome. And so basically this is Lauren Graham's reflection on Gilmore Girls and the time spent in between Gilmore Girls, aka Parenthood, and then back to Gilmore Girls. And I really like Lauren Graham anyway. I think she's really funny. I really relate to her. I love Parenthood, well, the first season, because that's all I've watched. I love Gilmore Girls like every white 20-something my age does. So yeah, it's great. I liked it. It talks about her growing up and how she got into it, and then it really talks about Gilmore Girls and what it was like and how excited she was and how it kind of brought everything back to be able to return to it. So it was definitely a nice piece of fluffy type read to get, excited about Gilmore Girls and whatnot. And I don't know. She read it, and again, she's a really great narrator. She is fantastic. I like Lauren Graham a lot, and it was an interesting read. It wasn't life-changing or anything, but I enjoyed reading it. I enjoyed listening to it. It, you know, put a smile on my face. And that's what you need sometimes. So I did give it another 4 stars. My third 4-star read is The Last One by Alexandra Oliver, which I was lent from one of my friends. This is one of the last things that I read in January, and it's basically, if you don't know, because I hadn't heard of this one until she gave it to me, it's about a girl who is on a reality show that's very much like Survivor, except meets the Hunger Game, except without the killing part of it, just like the last person to survive, or to not survive, but to still be in the game wins, but they don't know that other people have quit. Anyway, so it's the last one standing kind of reality show in the woods type of game, but what she doesn't know is that there's also a plague outbreak, so it's post-apocalyptic, sort of, because she doesn't realize that this has happened, and she thinks that she's still on the show, and all these things that are happening around her and to her, she doesn't realize are real. And so it's a very interesting kind of balance between what is real and what is fake. I also really liked that so the chapters go back and forth between the show itself and then her life, like a month later, still thinking she's in the show, and what she's going through and how she's dealing with it. Chapters that are the show are really interesting the way they're told. They're third person omniscient, and so it's giving you like all the information about all the characters on the show, and like what the editor thinks and the producer, and what's happening behind the scenes. And as someone who has worked in reality, sort of ish reality show, The Price is Right, and like had a film background, I felt that it was really, really, really interesting. It made me feel like I was simultaneously watching the episode and also filming the episode, and I thought it was a really cool way to tell the story, and I really appreciated it and enjoyed it. It also makes you definitely look at reality TV and how it's all fake, basically. So it was really cool. It's a good commentary on reality TV, but it's also a cool post-apocalyptic survival story. So if you're into that, it's a good one. Third and final audiobook is another sort of celebrity-ish memoir, and it's Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. I gave this one a 4.5 stars, so slightly better than the other ones, and really one of the better celebrity memoirs that I've read. So Trevor Noah is the host of The Daily Show, and he is from South Africa when he was born during apartheid. So basically, because he is mixed race, he's colored, his mom is black and his dad is white, so in the apartheid era when he was born, he was literally a crime. So it's stories of his South African childhood and how he had to kind of deal with this and what he was doing with it. I really loved it. He narrates it himself. Also, we love those. I've talked about it. I didn't really know much about Trevor Noah before then. I didn't really watch The Daily Show. I hadn't really heard of him. This book was recommended to me by a fellow teacher, and the audiobook was actually, and so I think I got it for free over like December somehow. I saw a link to it and I downloaded it, and I finally listened to it, and I was like amazed and astounded, and I started watching clips from The Daily Show, and I just really respect him and like I really enjoyed his book. The stuff he had to deal with to grow up in South Africa. I didn't really know much about South Africa before listening to this, and I've learned so much. I've learned a lot about the culture and about apartheid and what it meant to like grow up there as colored, because he wasn't black and he wasn't white. He didn't really know where he fit in, because he also didn't fit in with the people who considered themselves colored. And so it's just really interesting. I really enjoyed it. Structure's a little weird because it does jump back and forth in time, and there's chapters where I feel like I'm like, shouldn't we have covered this earlier? But it all kind of ties together really well, and I kind of liked it. The chapters are kind of focused in on something, on like one topic, as opposed to just like chronological. So I did really like it, and so, but that's why I gave it 4.5 instead of a 5, because it took me a second to kind of get past that. But anyway, 4.5, really good. Highly recommend. The last book I have today is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, and it was my only 5-star read, and it was brilliant and amazing, and I loved it. And thank you, Morgan, for telling me to read it 2 years ago, because I finally read it. And I loved it, just like you said that I would. So anyway, it's a great epic fantasy tale, part 1 of 3. Who knows when 3 will come out? Why? Why do authors do this to me? Why? Anyway, I still have 2 to read, so I have some time. I have some time before I start freaking out. But yeah, it's a great epic fantasy. Mine was 650 pages, but it flew by. It really did, because I was reading two things at once, and then once I finished the first thing and I was just reading this, it really did go by really quickly for 650 pages. Beginnings of an epic fantasy tale. It's a story within a story, and I just really liked it. It's about Quoth and how he's growing up as part of a troop, and then how he has to when he goes away from that, and there's like tragedy that strikes, and he's like homeless for a little while, and then he goes to university, and it's like this great just setup within a really good story itself. So I really enjoyed it. I loved it. I can't wait to read the next one and find out more about his life, and just more and more and more, and I really loved it. And thanks again, Morgan, for making me read it. And I did also buddy read this one with Kayla Rain, so thanks to Kayla. Thank you Kayla, for putting up with me being really late and then going too fast and gushing and stuff. And thanks for reading it with me, because again, you forced me to read it when I might have put it off. But I did it because I read it and I really liked it. So, boom. I know it looks like a chunker. It is a chunker, but it goes by fast. And this is why I only read 6 things, because I read a 500-page book and a 650-page book. But they were both worth it. Well, one of them was worth it. One of them I had to read for book club. Anyway, that's it. Those are the 6 books that I read. I told you I was wrong. I read 3 audiobooks and 3 books, so pretty good, half and half, audio and reading, and I read lots of big books. I would not have been able to read had I not made my Goodreads goal 1 book, and I have now like way gone over that, so yay me! I've met it 600%, woo! Anyway, let me know what you thought, if you read any of these, what your thoughts are, if you liked them, if you didn't like them, what your favorite thing is that you read in January, because maybe I'll read it next. And yeah, I guess that's it for me today. I'll see you next time.